Every Sunday, Pat Sullivan from Sullivan Hardware and Garden gives us advice for do-it-yourself home improvements. And this morning he is talking all about taking care of your lawn, from weed killing to fertilizing to our shrubs.
Well, here we are, just about September's right around the corner. September's probably the most important month for your lawn care, for weed killing, for fertilizer, for grass seeding. But some of that can start right now. The thing about weeds, because the movement in the plant is down towards the root, the weed killers become more effective. So weeds, also when weeds are actively growing. So that's why we don't use weed killer during hot summer months when it's dry, when the weeds are kind of dormant. You want to do it when they're moving and active. So there's different kind of weed killers. A weed killer for the fall, when you have a lot of, this one right here, it's weird because Ortho makes these, they're both named Weed Clear. One of them has some ability to kill grassy weeds like crabgrass and different things. This is more just broadleaf. So I think in the fall, you probably want the orange a little better. I like spot weeding, spot treating, I should say, because there's no sense to spread weed killer over 100% of your lawn if you just have a small amount of weeds. Now, that doesn't mean I'm an organic gardener. It just means it's common sense. Let's just spray right where the weeds are. So you can do that. Then there's problem weeds like violets, creeping Charlie, which is ground ivy. This is a really good one. There's one called Speed Zone, Weed Free Zone, you'll see around town. And that seems to do a little better job. There's a fourth weed killer called Carfinazone within that and does a nice job. And then especially stuff that I have a terrible problem with, bent grass. So I bought this. This is called Tenacity. We do not sell this. I bought it online. I think it's some of the landscape stores in town have it. But this will kill Kentucky blue, the coarse Kentucky blue, clumpy Kentucky blue. I'm going after bent grass with it. So, but it's expensive. I mean, it's like $70 for that little bottle. So do your weed killing. Come back in September. You have till about the third week of September to get your grass seed in. This is something I always laugh about. Fall grass seed, like it's any different than the spring grass seed. But get the very best grass seed that you can, and then fertilize. You want to fertilize once in September and then another one more time later, probably November. Doesn't have to say winter survival, doesn't have to say step 4, just fertilizer. Lawn fertilizer will do a great job. Then boxwoods. What's going on with boxwoods? Now, I'm not an expert in boxwood disease. I would point you to Purdue University, but the boxwoods where everybody thinks it's blight, I think a lot of it is actually winter kill. If this had boxwood blight, you would see like black cankers, and generally the stems defoliate. So if you have stems with black canker, and then sometimes before the leaf falls there'll be a little white fuzzy underneath it, that's probably the blight. Most of this probably is from the drought we had earlier, and then that flash freeze that was, I think, December 23rd, and it got really cold, like 9 below zero. And that, I think, is what we're seeing. So that doesn't mean there's not boxwood blight out there, and it doesn't mean that maybe if you have healthy boxwoods, you can spray them with different fungicides to help protect them. But look at Purdue's website. They have some great information because everyone wants to know what's going on with the boxwoods.